Whose house? Roadhouse. Hey everybody, welcome to this week's Take Two review. This week's Take Two review is the remake of Roadhouse. Yeah, I'm not big on remakes for the most part. I mean, every once in a while you have a good remake like The Thing. You know, John Carpenter's The Thing is a remake of The Thing from the 50s. You know, the Blob remake in the late 80s, you know, was a remake of the Blob from the 50s. The Blob from the 50s was fine in its own. And the original Thing was fine in its own. But the remakes, they did okay on those. But some remakes, well, most, I would say 65-70% of them are just terrible. Where does Roadhouse fit in that? Well, it's watchable. It makes the story, I mean, even though the story is about violence, and, you know, the originals, you know, about Patrick Swayze's character coming to this gentleman's bar to help him, you know, get some riffraff out and, you know, just get things back on course. Still, the violence is greatly choreographed and just, I don't know, it seems like with most of the original movie you could show it on even the mildest television channel, you know, sans the nudity. But with the remake, you have Jake Gyllenhaal as a former UFC fighter, and he's got PTSD. They've added a lot of layers to this thing. And he's got PTSD because he killed a friend of his in the ring. And, you know, of course that screws up his ability to make a career with UFC. But he, at the beginning you see him waiting to go in this bar that they're having, like, I guess, what the hell do you call it? Like a winner take all fight night or whatever. And this one guy's beating all these people's asses. And then he comes in and the guy's like, I ain't fighting that motherfucker, you know. He leaves. And then this gal comes up to him and says, I've got this bar in the Florida Keys and I really could use somebody like you. And he's like, whatever, you know. But he does take the paper she gives him. And then he goes up and oh, wait a minute. No, she gives him the paper after the fact. When he's going back to his car, he gets stabbed. And anyways, long story short, she gives him a paper with the address and stuff. And he's just kind of not interested. Then he almost kills himself as he's passed out at a gas station, and the cops tell him to move along. And he gets to a railroad crossing, and he decides to just pull in the middle of it. He just wants to end it. And I mean, as you can tell, that makes this one much darker in the first few minutes than anything in the original. But he decides, like, last second to pull on across the tracks, but the back of his car gets knocked up pretty bad. But anyways, he ends up going down to Florida and down to the Keys, and it's fairly similar in a lot of respects to the original after that, except for the fact that it's just, not that I mind it, but it's just like, it's really just a whole lot more violence. Sometimes violence that makes no sense to even be in it. I don't know. I love violent stuff in movies. I mean, I love my zombie movies. I love you know, horror movies. I love action movies. I love all this stuff, but it just seems like they loaded this up with a whole lot more of that than the original. You know, the original's got a love story in it. And this one, they try to do that, but it's such a B plot that you don't really care for. You know, so it's just like, I don't know. But it's watchable, yes. If you've got Prime, it's worth at least one viewing. Is it something I will buy? No. It's just not compelling enough to watch again. But it was worth giving one view. Yeah, that's all I have for this week. Probably try to do something old next week. I don't know what, but I've got so many movies in my backlog that I need to go through, so probably one of them. Anyways, we will see you all then. Bye.